Imagine a film that didn't just define a genre, but carved its own monument into the very bedrock of cinema. Sergio Leone's 1966 masterpiece, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, is much more than just a regular film. It's an experience, a journey into the raw, untamed spirit of the frontier. A place where morality is a shifting mirage and survival is the only true law. For decades, this film has stood as a towering achievement, a benchmark against which all other westerns are measured. But as the years turn into decades, and the cinematic landscape continues to evolve, a crucial question emerges. Does this legendary epic still hold its ground? Does its dust-caked grandeur and morally ambiguous narrative resonate with audiences today? Or has time, like the relentless desert wind, eroded its once unshakable foundations? Join me as we delve deep into the sun-drenched, blood-soaked world of Leone's magnum opus, dissecting its enduring power, its revolutionary impact, and ultimately its place in the pantheon of timeless cinema. We'll explore the intricate dance between its unforgettable characters, the revolutionary techniques that shaped its visual language, and the profound themes that continue to echo through the corridors of film history. When The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly first rode into theaters in 1966, it was met with a curious mixture of commercial success and critical disdain. The spaghetti western, a genre born from the sun-drenched landscapes of Spain and the creative ingenuity of Italian filmmakers, was often looked down upon by the cinematic establishment. It was seen as a cheap, violent, and cynical imitation of the classic Hollywood western, a genre that had long defined America's mythic vision of itself. But Sergio Leone, the visionary director behind the Dollars trilogy, was not interested in imitation. He was a cinematic revolutionary, a man who saw the Western not as a vehicle for patriotic tales of heroism and manifest destiny, but as a canvas for exploring the darkest corners of the human soul. Leone's West was a far cry from the sanitized black and white morality of John Ford's Monument Valley. It was a brutal, morally ambiguous world, a place where the line between hero and villain was not just blurred but erased entirely. Survival was the only currency that mattered, and honor was a luxury that few could afford. In this unforgiving landscape, the traditional archetypes of the Western were turned on their heads. The hero was no longer a clean-cut, noble figure, but a laconic, self-interested drifter, a man with no name and no past. The villain was not a one-dimensional caricature of evil, but a complex, often charming, and utterly ruthless opportunist. And the ugly character, the one who defied easy categorization, was a chaotic force of nature, a survivor who would do anything to get ahead. This film, the grand culmination of Leone's groundbreaking trilogy, redefined the very language of cinema. It was a masterclass in visual storytelling, a symphony of sight and sound that pushed the boundaries of what was possible on screen. Leone's signature style, a combination of extreme close-ups and breathtaking long shots, created a sense of both intimacy and epic scale. The close-ups, lingering on the actors' faces, allowed the audience to read every subtle nuance of their performances, to feel the tension and the desperation in their eyes. The long shots, in contrast, emphasized the vastness and indifference of the natural world, a world that would just as soon swallow these characters whole as it would reward their efforts. And then there was the music. Ennio Morricone's score for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is not just a soundtrack, it's a character in its own right, a living, breathing entity that weaves itself into the very fabric of the film. Morricone's audacious blend of traditional Western motifs with unconventional sounds, whips, whistles, coyote howls, and electric guitars, was revolutionary. It was a score that was as bold, as innovative, and as unforgettable as the film itself. From the iconic opening theme with its instantly recognizable two-note melody, to the soaring operatic grandeur of The Ecstasy of Gold, Morricone's music elevated every scene, transforming the film from a mere Western into a grand, mythical epic. But the film's true genius lies not just in its stylistic innovations, but in its profound and unflinching exploration of timeless themes. Set against the backdrop of the American Civil War, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly presents a scathing indictment of the futility and senselessness of armed conflict. The war is not a noble cause, a struggle for freedom and justice, but a chaotic, brutal, and ultimately meaningless backdrop for the characters' selfish pursuits. The soldiers on both sides are not heroes, but pawns in a game they don't understand, their lives thrown away for a cause that has long since lost its meaning. In one of the film's most poignant scenes, Blondie and Tuco witness the carnage of a battle over a strategically insignificant bridge, a scene that perfectly encapsulates the film's anti-war message. At its core, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a film about greed, a theme that is as relevant today as it was in 1966. The three main characters are not driven by ideology or a sense of justice, but by the promise of a hidden cache of gold. They are willing to lie, cheat, steal, and kill to get their hands on it. Their moral compasses long since shattered by the harsh realities of their world. And yet, despite their flaws, despite their selfishness and their cruelty, we find ourselves drawn to these characters. Their resilience, their cunning, and their sheer will to survive is absolutely captivating. And with the flawless direction and execution of this film, we see much more to these characters than what's initially presented to us. But this neatly brings us along to my next question. Despite being a Western classic, does The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly still hold up today as a film in general? Nearly 6 decades have passed since its initial release, a period during which the film industry has undergone countless transformations, evolving in its storytelling techniques, technological capabilities, and audience expectations. Yet, despite the passage of time, this film remains an undeniable force, its influence echoing through countless contemporary works. You can see its DNA in modern westerns, in action films, and even in the gritty realism of certain television dramas. Its impact on popular culture is immeasurable, a testament to its enduring power. One of the most frequent criticisms leveled against the film upon its initial release was its pacing. Many found it to be too slow, too deliberate, especially when compared to the fast-paced, action-driven westerns of Hollywood. However, what was once seen as a flaw is now celebrated as one of its greatest strengths. Leone's deliberate pacing allows the tension to build organically, slowly, almost imperceptibly, until it becomes an almost unbearable weight. Each lingering shot, each extended silence serves to heighten the anticipation, drawing the audience deeper into the narrative. When the action finally erupts, it does so with a visceral impact that is all the more powerful for the patient buildup. The iconic Mexican standoff, for instance, is a masterclass in suspense, a scene that stretches time and space, making every second count. The slow zoom, the intense close-ups on the characters' eyes, the subtle shifts in their expressions, all contribute to a feeling of impending doom, a dance with death that is both terrifying and exhilarating. This is not a film that rushes to its conclusions. It savors every moment, allowing the audience to fully immerse themselves in its world. The performances, too, remain legendary. Clint Eastwood, in his career-defining role as Blondie, the man with no name, embodies the laconic, morally ambiguous anti-hero with a quiet intensity that is both captivating and intimidating. His minimalist acting style, relying on subtle gestures and piercing stares, speaks volumes without uttering a single word. Eli Wallach's portrayal of Tuco, the boisterous, unpredictable bandit, is a tour de force of physical comedy and raw emotion. Tuco is a character who is both despicable and endearing, a survivor whose cunning and resilience make him impossible to hate entirely. And Cleef, as the cold, calculating Angel Eyes, delivers a performance of chilling villainy, his piercing eyes and sinister smile conveying a sense of pure, unadulterated evil. These three actors, each at the peak of their powers, create a dynamic trio that is both compelling and unforgettable. Their chemistry, their unspoken rivalries, and their reluctant alliances form the emotional core of the film, drawing the audience into their dangerous game of cat and mouse. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is more than just a Western. It's a cinematic poem, a sprawling epic that transcends its genre, its influence reaching far beyond the dusty plains it depicts. It stands as a monumental testament to Sergio Leone's singular vision, a director who dared to challenge conventions and redefine a genre. It is a tribute to Ennio Morricone's unparalleled genius, whose music became the very soul of the film, elevating every moment to operatic heights. And it is a celebration of the unforgettable performances of its lead actors, who brought to life characters that are as complex and compelling today as they were nearly 6 decades ago. This film challenged the very notion of what a Western could be, stripping away the romanticized myths and exposing the raw, brutal realities of a world driven by greed and survival. It influenced generations of filmmakers, from Quentin Tarantino to countless others who sought to emulate its audacious style and unflinching honesty. Its impact on popular culture is undeniable, its imagery and music woven into the fabric of our collective consciousness. And perhaps most importantly, It continues to captivate audiences with its raw power, its artistic ambition, and its timeless exploration of the human condition. If you've never ventured into this unforgiving cinematic landscape, if you've never experienced the tension of its standoffs, the grandeur of its vistas, or the haunting beauty of its score, I definitely recommend that you do so. It is a journey that demands your attention, but rewards it with an unforgettable experience. And if you have seen this classic already, then perhaps it's time for another ride and journey into the heart of this masterpiece, to rediscover the nuances, the hidden depths, and the sheer audacity of a film that truly stands the test of time. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this film. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the heart of Western cinema. Until next time, this is Slow Dusk, signing off.